The signature events are in the books for the 2025 PGA Tour season, but don't you worry, we still have plenty of great golf to be played. And that all starts this weekend, the Rocket Classic at Detroit Golf Club. Cam Davis will be out to defend his title. Some more big names that are teeing up. We got Colin Morawa, Patrick Cantlay, Hideki Matsuyama, and last week's winner, Keegan Bradley. Let's welcome in our golf expert, Patrick McDonald, joining us now. So the Detroit Golf Club, it stands out due to its rich history, 2 Donald Ross-designed golf courses. It was all founded back in the day, 1899. We're talking like deep back in the day. And it is a private club deeply embedded in Detroit's tradition. What makes it so unique?
I think that Donald Ross component, right, Jenny? When you think about Donald Ross, you got to think about the greens. All of these are going to be sloping from back to front. It's a pretty wide corridors there, I would say, on the par 72. Not a lot of trouble off the tee. It's actually the flattest golf course on the PGA Tour, so guys aren't going to have to be dealing with yardages and trying to figure out how much it's going to have to take off, how much you're going to have to add to it on their approach shots. But I think an added wrinkle this year, we've typically seen winning scores in the mid-20 unders. You think about big hitters like Bryson, Tony Finau, Cam Davis a couple times, like you mentioned, but they're actually going to go through a restoration process after this week, a little bit of a renovation, as you see on the screen. So the greenskeepers, the green staff, they can kind of turn this place up a notch, and we might be seeing a winning score closer to last year when it was around 18 under. So hopefully they can really firm this place up, make it firm and fast, and add a little bit of difficulty for these players, which they typically don't see around Detroit Golf Club.
Keegan Bradley, woo. Keegan Bradley, I can talk. He's coming off a thrilling victory at the Travelers Championship. I was actually just watching a video of when he won it all, his kids and their reaction out there. It was just incredible. We saw him birdie that final hole to win by 1 stroke. Could you see him going back-to-back?
It'll be tough. I'm not going to liken it to the J.J. Spawn type hangover, but when you think about Keegan Bradley, the Travelers Championship is a major in his mind, winning it 2 out of the last 3 years. So letdown does seem inevitable, but you look at this guy's game, you look at this guy's winning upside. Jenny, since the start of the 2022 season, there are only 2 guys on the PGA Tour who can say they've won more tournaments than Keegan Bradley. It's Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, and then it's Bradley there, tied for 3rd with 4 wins. And so I think you think about all that, and sure, he could go back-to-back, but I think just the high of that putt, somehow winning and coming through on the 72nd hole at the Travelers Championship, it does seem like a letdown is inevitable, but he's plenty motivated. He's 9th in the Ryder Cup standings. He'd love nothing more to make that team through the automatic qualifying to top 6, still 3 months out from the competition to hopefully quiet the noise around the playing captain conversation. But it does seem, just based on the high that was the Travelers Championship, he might be coming down a little bit this week.
Man, such a buzzkill there. It's just like the highest of the highs. You're like, I don't think it's going to work out so well for you. Another buzzkill, I guess you could say. Colin Morawa, he has struggled as of late. He hasn't finished inside the top 10 since the Players' Championship back in March, making his 2nd career start at the Rocket Classic. That lone appearance back in 2023, he was defeated by Ricky Fowler on his 1st playoff hole there. Can he maybe find some revenge, some success this weekend?
It should be a good spot for him, right? This guy is still one of the most accurate drivers on the PGA Tour. His iron play is still very good, but he said something at Muirfield Village last month that kind of struck a chord with me, kind of sounded the alarms, where he said he was searching for something, but he wasn't quite sure what it was. And Colin Morawa has been making kind of a bunch of changes low-key. Think about the caddy change, putting Joe Griner on the bag, JJ Jakovich now with Michael Thorbjornsen. He was working on his swing really hard there at Oakmont, struck the ball great, just did not putt well, unfortunately, at the U.S. Open. He's switching putters this week, trying to put a new putter in the bag. And then you saw last week, he was hitting some shots with his glove off, some shots with his glove on. So I don't love that from that regard, but Colin Morawa, his floor is just so high with that ball striking, and if he can just roll in a few more of those 10-footers, which he has not done since the Players' Championship, then yeah, he can get off the schneid and win for the first time in a while.
Okay, some positivity. What about some positivity for a player like Patrick Cantlay? It's been a while. He has been in a winless slump with his last victory coming in the 2022 BMW Championship. That was a long time ago. Do you think he can break out of it at the Rocket Classic?
I'm not too sure, and I don't like how you're phrasing me as a negative Nancy here, but
Yeah,
you're
it's
bringing me
kinda-
guys like Cantlay and Morikawa,
So it's my
and you know
fault.
it's tough to spin zone this. Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on you.
Fair.
But you look at Cantlay, and his schedule has typically consisted of major championships and signature events. This is going to be his third regular PGA Tour event of the season, but his first since the week before the Masters, and it's for a good reason, right? He's 12th in the Ryder Cup standings. He's on the outside looking in that regard. He's just barely inside the top 20 in the FedEx Cup, and so he is playing much better than I think the noise would suggest. He missed the cut at the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open. That's where all the eyeballs are on you. But he had 3 top 15 finishes surrounding those. Just played great at the Travelers Championship. The one start here in Detroit, he did finish T2. And pretty similar to Morikawa, the putts just need to start to fall. And we know Cantlay, when he does have that putter rolling in the right direction, he's one of the best in the world. So if he can do that this week, he does seem comfortable on these greens, then sure, he can win for the first time since 2022. Let's end on a positive note.
I was going to say, look at us ending on a high note. I love it. Patrick McDonald being Mr. Positivity here on this Tuesday afternoon, getting us ready for the Rocket Classic. You can catch all the action this weekend on CBS. It'll be streaming on Paramount Plus as well. It's going down Saturday and Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Looking at the odds to win the Rocket Classic, Colin Morawa, Keegan Bradley, Hideki Matsuyama, Matt Fitzpatrick, they're among some of the ones that are looking to dethrone Cam Davis and win this year. Morikawa entering this week as the favorite, 12-1 odds right there, followed by Cantlay and Bradley. Ben Griffin also making that list. Right now, Davis going as a long shot, 80-1 odds to repeat. For a betting angle on it all, Sia Nejad joining us now on HQ. We're going to go right to it. This is what we do each and every week. Your pick to win it all. Who do you like?
Jenny, last week I told you that I liked Cam Young to win the Travelers. That did not work out very well for me. And I said, when I said that, I was like, hey, I'm not a guy that takes Cam Young, because I know when people take Cam Young outright, you get a huge eye roll. So, of course, Jenny, I'm not going to come back to this show the following week and say I like Cam Young. Just kidding. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking Cam Young at 28-1. Listen, I liked him last week. He had 4 or 5 tournaments in a row where he was really good, including back-to-back T4 finishes at the RBC Canadian and the U.S. Open. With that said, I think this course actually is better for him. Last week, a little bit more positional than this week. He can absolutely mash it off the tee. He's great there, and that's really important. The other thing that's really important is having an excellent putter, which he has really, really done. And if you're asking, well, yeah, that's great, but is he comfortable at the Rocket Classic? How about T6 in 2024 and T2 in 2022? And in those 2 stints, he gained strokes in every single strokes gain metric. I absolutely love Cameron Young. I don't mind that I was on him last week. When I say the following, it's better for him this week. I'll take him at 28-1, especially considering the field is lesser.
Can you do me a favor? What tournament do we have next week? Do you know off the top of your head?
Gosh.
It doesn't matter. But can we just
John
make
Deere. It's
okay.
John Deere next week.
Can we make it a point that if Cam Young is playing in it, you have to pick him again if he doesn't win this
Yes.
week? Okay.
Yes, I promise, Jenny.
All right, done deal. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that. How about some DFS goodbyes? Who do you like?
Let's go with a couple of guys that have tremendous upside. Again, I'm looking for off-the-tee prowess here, and I'll admit I'm looking for good putters, but the 2 I'm going to offer you are a little sketchy in the putting department, but they check so many other boxes. We're going to start with Rasmus Højgaard. I think Rasmus is just so tailor-made for a course like this where he's not necessarily going to get in trouble off the tee, but can really be dialed in everywhere else. Yeah, he's a little bit of a negative with the putter, but this is a birdie fest, or at least it should be. And driving distance, birdie or better, off the tee, recent approach play, good wedge play. Rasmus checks all those boxes. So again, in DFS, I'm looking for upside. I'm looking for a guy that's not going to be hyper popular from an ownership standpoint. Rasmus checks that box. Rico Hoey, a slightly different story. I don't think he checks quite as many boxes, but he certainly checks the birdie making box, like birdie or better, opportunities gained, things of that nature. He's also very good off the tee. The problem is he's kind of deficient everywhere else, like with the approach play, with the putter in particular. But what's interesting about Hoey is he gained in a big way last year at this tournament, which led to a T6 finish. So I do think Rico Hoey may be comfortable on these greens. Certainly a birdie maker. I think he's got tremendous upside, so I'll take him as well.
All right, I like that. How about your best bet for the Rocket Classic? Who are we going with?
Jenny, another instance where I'm going to lie to you because I always come with a nationality prop.
Yeah.
And I tried. And so I couldn't find a good one, and I didn't want to force it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an international player as opposed to a nationality prop, and it's Tristan Lawrence. Tristan Lawrence, the South African. The only reason I didn't take him in the African top nationality prop is because there's other guys there that scare me, including Aldrich Potgieter, who's emerged lately, and a guy named Eric Van Rooyen, who, of course, everybody knows. So I'm going to go top 20 market at a huge number. Top 20, including ties, Tristan Lawrence at plus 380. This is a guy that hasn't been very good on the PGA Tour in particular, but I think he's found something. You look at what he did over on the Euro Tour at the Soudal Open recently, and you look what he did at the U.S. Open, where I believe it was a top 12 or a T12 for him. The approach and the putting really came around. So again, watching him in especially the U.S. Open, I think he might have found something. He's good. He's good enough off the tee here. So at this impressive number, plus 380, I'm going to take Tristan Lawrence top 20 in ties.
Good stuff. It is always a pleasure talking to you, Sia. Thanks so much. Trying to make us some money this week. I look forward to our chats each and every week. Got to check out for more on the Rocket Classic, our Early Wedge podcast, our guy Sia, joined by Patrick Sobel, and the man who we were speaking to earlier, Patrick McDonald, taking an early look at the 2025 Rocket Classic. Check it out today.